Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Najwa binti Kamarul Bahrin. My matric number is 264380. I am the group presenter for this group. My group topic for this group project is malaria disease mapping in Malaysia and analysis based on SMR method and poison gamma model. So my group member consists of myself and Wan Hawani, Nur Asy-Syura, and the last one is Natri. So the content of the slide is first introduction, second is methodology, third is data and result, and the last one is conclusion. So we move to the first agenda, which is introduction. So malaria. Malaria is a major public health issue that affects more than 40% of people worldwide. Malaria is an endemic contagious disease caused by parasite protozoa on the genus Plasmodium and spread by vectors. There are 5 kinds of malaria parasite infects human. The first is Plasmodium falciparum. The second is Plasmodium vivax. Third is Plasmodium ovale. Fourth is Plasmodium malari. And the last one is Plasmodium knowlesi. People usually get malaria by being bitten by an infection female Anopheles mosquito. So malaria is common. Usually malaria is common in tropical and subtropical countries. Next is symptom of malaria. So the symptom of malaria is first fever, flu-like illness, shaking chill, and tiredness. Next is nausea or vomiting, and diarrhea may also occur. So malaria may cause anemia and jaundice or yellow color of skin and eyes because of the loss of red blood cell. If not promptly treated, the infection can become severe and may cause kidney failure, mental confusion, coma, and death. In Malaysia, 5,000 cases were reported in 2010. Malaria control activity has reduced significantly to human malaria incident in Malaysia. Approximately 68% of cases are found in Malaysia, Borneo, specifically in Sabah and Sarawak. Therefore, the project aimed to compare the estimated relative risk for malaria disease mapping in 7 different years using 2 different techniques, which is SMR and poison gamma method. Next is methodology. So the first method we use is standardized mobility ratio, which is SMR. SMR is frequently used in occupational epidemiology as a measure of risk. So it is most used statistic in disease mapping to estimate the disease relative risk on a map. So SMR also compare the observation incident with the expected incident. So this is the formula we use to find the relative risk for SMR. So we take observation value divide by estimation value. So the next method we use is poison gamma ratio. It is one of the earliest example of Bayesian mapping, and it utilizes a new approach of calculating relative risk. So it is given time period. In a given time period, the number of new infection is assumed to follow a Poisson distribution with mean and variance. So this is the formula used. Based on this Poisson gamma model, the analysis result contain the posterior predicted relative risk for all region and time period. Next is data analysis. Data were provided by the Ministry of Health Malaysia (MOH) and the Department of Statistics Malaysia (DOSAM). So malaria data referred to the observed infection malaria cases of human which were observed in 7 years from 2013 to 2019. SMR method and poison gamma model were applied to malaria data in the form of count of cases within 15 states in Malaysia. As a result for SMR, this is the graph based on the data we get, and based on the SMR value that we get according to the formula that I showed earlier. So based on this graph, we can see that Sarawak has the highest number of relative risk in 2016 with 5.32 relative risk, which equivalent to the number of cases of 1,064 cases. Followed by Sabah with the relative risk 4.31 in 2019. This proves by the highest number of cases for Sabah, which is 2,047. It also can be seen that the lowest relative risk is Wilayah Persekutuan Labuan and Perlis with 0 number of cases and 0 relative risk. Next is poison gamma. So this is the result for poison gamma. This is the relative risk estimation using poison gamma model for each state in Malaysia from year 2013 until 2019. So most states have a relative risk of less than 1 for the majority of the year, leading to the same conclusion as before. As we can see, from 2013 until 2019, most of the state having low relative risk, which is below than 1. So next is Sabah and Sarawak has the largest number of relative risk with value of 4.30 and 3.85 respectively. So Perlis with 0 cases and relative risk of 0.02 are the state with the lowest relative risk. So this is a comparison table where for 2019, the comparison of the relative risk estimation based on SMR method and poison gamma model in year 2019. So there is no difference between these two methods, as you can see here. It's just a tiny difference between these two methods, as you can see here. In Perak, while we use SMR, we get relative risk with 0.31, and while using poison gamma model, we got relative risk estimation 0.31. There is a tiny difference between these two methods. So next is mapping comparison. This is a mapping comparison between SMR and poison gamma. So according to its color, for malaria risk index relative risk, there is 5 category, which is very low, low, medium, high and very high, according to the sequence, which is red, yellow, green, blue and purple. So as you can see in SMR, there is a tiny difference between SMR and poison gamma. So as you can see here in the mapping, in the map, Perak, while we use SMR, Perak is dropped into a category of medium relative risk, while in poison gamma we can see that it dropped into a high relative risk to be infected. So in conclusion, the purpose SMR method for estimating the relative risk in this analysis is essential for assessing future risk. The overall number of malaria cases as well as the observed cases can be mapped. The greater the risk in a given sector, the more serious the government's attention and financial support are required. It is hoped that the government will implement a more practical approach for controlling and preventing disease transmission. Thus, persons at risk are more alert and understand due to scientific explanation that forewarn them of the possibility to be infected by malaria in the future. So that's all for me. Thank you so much.